Yo, people, welcome back to the Red Room, the only room that you guys should be in, apart from the one that you're in. Like, actually, if you know what I mean. But yeah, how you doing? Hope everyone's well. Welcome back to the channel. Anfield Index is in the building. Red Room is in the building, and as you can see, some diehard Red Roomers are in the building. Ben's back in the building. Red or Live TV representing. How are we, Ben?
Good, mate. Good. Been an interesting week and look forward to some footy tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. I'm at that stage now where I just want Liverpool to play football every other day, just like when the season starts. And yeah, look, they've pre-season friendlies, but we get a chance to see these Reds, and I'm falling back. When I say I'm falling back in love, I'm never out of love with Liverpool, but you know what I mean. We're there now. Like we're on the crest of the season, we're just dying for our Reds to come back. Zan, you're in the same boat. Are you done with the transfer window yet, or are you still no? I want the transfer window. Are you one of these that wants the transfer window just to carry on?
You always love a bit of transfer window, though, innit? Who doesn't? No, but we need the football back. Need to see Liverpool playing regularly, proper football, not the pre-season matches where everyone's getting excited. But
Mo,
yeah.
Not training ground matches that Mo wants to talk about. Mo, surely you watched the AC Milan game and thought, yeah, this is a bit different from the behind the scenes Stoke friendly that you wanted to dissect and analyze.
What game? What game? I speak no English.
What game?
Yeah, do you know what training games are like me, or pre-season games? Do you know how I put them? They're like star signs. You only believe them if they're good. So I only want to talk about them if we win. So that's the way I look at it.
Some usuals in the regulars, I say usuals in the background. Special shout out to my boy Omar is in the building. He says hi, Grizz Khan. He's a piss taker. I love him to bits. He's the best boy in the world. Someone else is the best boy in the world and a big boy these days. And we're absolutely humbled and privileged to have Mr. Mike Quill in the building.
I hate this guy.
How are we, lad? How are we? Mike,
I'm good.
Waiting because I don't know, what was you on? BBC today, Talk Sports.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
You
Okay, I've got a bad habit. Listen, I was looking for my headphones. I lose things all the time. I lost my headphones. I'm running around the house. Grizz was blowing up my phone in a respectful way. And I was late, so I'm the reason this all started late. So I do apologize, guys. That is me. And
no, you can make up for it with some pearls of wisdom as the show goes on. You'll make up for it. I'm sure you will.
There you go.
Loads to catch up on as usual, guys. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't. You already know the rules and regulations. They're not rules and regulations as such. They're just polite requests, man. Humble requests, man. Just helps the channel grow. Housekeeping rules, man. And make sure you subscribe to everyone else. As I said, Ben doing great work at Red or Live TV. Zan, check out his videos. Copwop, go and check him out on Twitter for his opinions. And Quill is doing bits, man. Good on Quill. Loads to catch up with, people. Loads to catch up with. Liverpool are acting the big bollocks again, Ben. We stuck to our laurels. We didn't let anyone rinse Luis Diaz for free, or cheap, I should say, not for free, for cheap. We stuck to our principles. We said, look, this is his price. Pay up or shut up. Bayern Munich done the job. How you feeling?
Good move for all, mate. I think it's spoke about it the other day briefly, didn't we? We knew we weren't going to get the big bumper deal off Liverpool, and suits the parties, Grizz. We get this money move, 4-year deal, takes him up to 32. Never going to get it at Liverpool. But look, I like the player. You can't, talk bad of his commitments. He was good at stages last year, but Liverpool still have a top left winger still at the club in Cody Gakpo. So it's one of them. It's a big thing for him to carry on now. And, he's getting kind of slept on, isn't he? Because people are talking about the new lad Shumps just come in. But Diaz is a miss. But ultimately, he's not on the level of Mo Salah and all that sort of stuff, Grizz, is he? So the it's good for us. We've got plans. So off we go.
Yeah, off we go, man. More money in the key, more money returned to probably spend. We've done the training ground. We've done the stadium. We've got promotions. Where am I today? I'm tired. We've got sponsorship deals in place, everything else. We wanted investment in the team, and now we've got more money to invest in the team. Zan, what are you saying? Luis Diaz, fond memories? Any what's the word? Looking back and thinking, we could have kept him, we should have kept him, or Or are you like Ben? Where you at?
I think I was a bit in the middle between both, but I would have kept him, to be honest. I would have kept him this season. I think because he can cover left wing, because he can cover striker, not too much on his contract as well for Liverpool in the couple of seasons that he had left. I think I think they were saying that Liverpool actually wanted to keep him this summer, but because he pushed for the move himself, Liverpool were forced to play the hand and let him go. Bayern Munich is obviously a good opportunity for him. I think he's going to smash the Bundesliga as well. My worry is that we get left short up front. We sign Alexander Isak, it's fine. We have him and Ekitike as strikers, but then that left wing position, only having Cody Gakpo. And I know Rio Ngumoha, everyone's excited by him, but he needs to be managed into that first team. So there's a little bit of worry on that left wing side. I know some people have said Wirtz and Szoboszlai can cover, but I think ultimately Liverpool would have preferred to have kept Luis Diaz rather than selling him. But the fee is brilliant, 65 million. 28 years old, 2 years left on his contract, wanting to move. So is a win for all parties.
Yeah, it is a win for all parties, I think, in the end, ultimately, Mike. But you know, I was so conflicted about Luis Diaz, man. I can't speak highly enough of this fella. Came in, and I don't know if you guys remember, man, like how scrawny and skinny he was when he came in from Porto, man. You think to yourself, you know, I mean, how's he gonna the hustle and bustle of the Premier League? Because playing in the Portuguese league is a total different animal. Playing in the Premier League, but physically he showed he's up for it. For the fight as well, and no lack of skill and talent as well, man. Good times all around, I guess.
Yeah, listen, I think with Diaz as well, you know, as much as I think his output was questioned up until last season, when it's mattered, he's always been a player that I feel has performed. I actually think back to Klopp's last final, the game against Chelsea, where we just ended up with a bunch of youngsters on the pitch, and Luis Diaz was, you know, he's unbelievable. He sort of led by example in work rate. The lad couldn't walk come the end of the game, and at the end of the day, that's what you want from a player at your club. You know, sometimes it's not necessarily about scoring 30 goals a season, but it's about what you do when you're on the pitch for the badge, and you know, what is your attitude like in the training ground on the pitch. And you can't speak highly enough of him for that. You know, he went through a really troublesome time, of course, with everything that happened with his dad as well, and he wanted to play through it. You know, I think that just speaks highly of his character. I take everything you hear about him pushing for a move and his agent and all that the last month with, you know, with a pinch of salt, because a lot of it's agent driven. It's not necessarily the player himself, you know, manufacturing a lot of these headlines. It's more agent driven. So I don't really label that to him as a character, and I wouldn't judge him by that. But in terms of replacing him going forward, I don't necessarily carry the anxiety I think some fans do. You know, I think, you know, last season was his best season for us, and his output was 13 goals in the Prem and 5 assists. I do think that with every signing we've made in the forward area, I expect them to match that. So I'm not necessarily worried too much about his output being replaced. But I think it's a good time for him to go. I think I said this to you before. I think it's a good time for him to go. It's a shame to see him go because I do like him a lot, but it is a good time. You know, you're not going to get this fee for him again. We're not going to pay him the contract that it looks like he was after. So I think it's just a good time for everyone to part ways. Best of luck to him at Bayern Munich as well, because I think he'll do very well there. I think Germany's a great place for him. But yeah, listen, for everything considered, I think it's right time, right decision for everyone involved.
Got Welshmo in the building. You echo those sentiments, or are you fine with him going? And or have you got any anxiety like Zan has about? Are we going to be left short? Are we going to, you know, replace him adequately? We seem to have been replacing everyone else adequately so far.
I think I said it a couple of weeks ago on this show. You know, I think we were given the ultimatum of keep Diaz or sell Diaz, and I said, look, I don't mind if he goes if we have an adequate replacement coming in. What that looks like, who knows? But I do share some of the sentiments of both Mike and Zen, that I am worried that 15 goal output, where's that going to come from, first and foremost? But then I also agree with Mike, it's a perfect time to sell him. You know, and I also agree with you. You actually said, Grizz, before that you think Diaz wants to stay. In an ideal world, and if the contract was laid on the table, he probably would stay. But we were never going to give him what he was expecting, and that's the bottom line. And he was at a position where even last season, his last tweet he was given, he was already saying goodbye. So I think in his head mentally, he checked out as well. So I think this is a good lesson for possibly Newcastle fans. Not keeping a player who doesn't want to be there anymore. But actually leaving amicably and with the fans backing. And maybe Newcastle fans may want to take a look at the situation.
You know what's going to be said here, though. We didn't necessarily give that for Trent.
No, exactly. No,
we got to be careful, I suppose, aren't we?
But Trent was totally different, wasn't it? I think because by all accounts, you don't learn Spanish overnight, do you? So he was planning that.
Very true. Yeah.
He was planning that for a good 12 months, and I think that's where most of the not hatred, but most of the disappointment comes from Trent. Is look, he obviously planned that, him and his brothers, for a long time, and I think. A lot of Liverpool fans cottoned on to that, and that was more upsetting. There was many times throughout the year last year. I don't want to go on about Trent, but there was many times last year where he could have expelled those rumours like Van Dijk and Mo did. Yeah, we're still chatting, we're still in a good place, but he never came out once, and he's vice captain as well. So I think that's where a lot of hurt goes for. Going back to Diaz, I think we need to. I do think we need to replace him. I don't think Rio's quite ready yet, as exciting as he is. And I don't want to see Wirtz on the left. I think that's a waste of 100 million being spent. So I do think someone who's versatile, play left and right, we should be looking at.
Ben, we'll go on to sort of players from the outside that could come in to replace Diaz, or if we think we will get someone to replace Diaz. But Mo's touched on Rio. I can't say his surname yet, so I'm not gonna get
Ngumoha.
Okay, but I can't say it.
I call him Rio as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Rio, but we're not talking about the Rio, the plank from United. We're talking about our little Rio. What we've seen of him so far. And look, training ground. We're not going to change the narrative suddenly and start giving it the training ground. He looks amazing on the training ground, doesn't he?
Does he? Looks a top player, mate. But this is the problem. You've got to manage it properly. You can't just put too much pressure. Look, in football now, there's no patience, mate. So people will be expecting them to score 20 league goals.
That's the problem.
You've just mentioned there we could be losing 15, but we're hoping that the fella coming in next is bringing them goals. Do you know what I mean? So, look, but top talent. I spoke to the day to you, Grizz. He's only a left-sided player, though. Do you know what I mean? So he's very, very limited in that aspect. I don't think, like Mo Salah, you can't play him anywhere else, really. Let's face it. But for me, he's going to be the sixth choice. Do you know what I mean? This is a great year for him. Put him in the cup games. Yeah. Do you know where could be the best moment for him and where he could start solidifying going into? You look at the following season, aren't you, where he could start really pushing for that starting place, hopefully. But I think in them games whereby you've just got madness going on, where it could be so tight, I'd just give him 10 minutes now and again. I would ball and run at them. And what are they going to do? They don't know what to expect from him. And I don't even think our players do at the minute. Do you know what I mean? This is it. And that's his chance. It's them little moments there. Because I'm not being funny, right? Let's say you've got Chiesa who stays and him. I'd get more excitement about Rio getting that chance. And
it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Imagine saying that, right, a year ago. Because I loved Chiesa. 3-4 years ago, he was my dream Salah replacement. That's how highly I rated him. I wanted him out. I thought Chiesa is the ultimate Liverpool player. He just looks a shadow of himself. And now, I agree with you, Ben. For 15 minutes to go,
it was like Sterling into the scene, wasn't it? When Sterling popped into the scene, we were like, the pace. He's bigger than him. Do you know what I mean? He's grown a bit, That's I like that. He looked. Been eating his dinners, lad. So he's ready to go.
I'll tell you, he's getting that protein in, man. But yeah, look, he looks exciting, man. He looks exciting, and look, that's all it is at the moment. Every club has their excitement. We've heard a lot about the Arsenal fella this week, the youngster.
Max
Dowman,
I think.
Max Dowman, and he looks electric as well.
He looks sensational.
Let's not, let's give credit where credit's due. Let's not, be only rose-tinted glasses. He looks fantastic.
Yeah,
there's players at other clubs that look fantastic as well. And we've got one as well. We've got a whole history of players that are looking fantastic for us. But Zan, like Ben says, way too much expectation, way too much responsibility. Look, Diaz replaced Sadio, the fucking legend Sadio Mane. Like, my God, the way I look back at Sadio Mane, man, I still have goosebumps, man, when I think about Sadio Mane, man. Like, what a player. And then Luis Diaz replaces him and does a fantastic job. Not to the levels of Sadio Mane. Rio, look, we bide our time. We play him in the cups, but we urgently need urgently. I'll put urgently in there, but I think you probably agree. We need someone to replace him. What's your scouting network saying? I know you love to have cast a scouting network amongst players all around Europe. What has it come out with? What has your database come out with?
Well, I think it's quite an obvious one, to be fair, but I think Rodygo is probably going to be out of what I believe Liverpool won't be signing him. If they're going for Isak, they won't be getting Rodygo. So, and the other thing is, I still believe Cody Gakpo, who's been very disrespected, is still good enough to start for Liverpool at left wing. I was saying it last night on Twitter as well, that I think we're forgetting this guy was on a great roll just before his injury. He had that injury and he definitely didn't come back to the levels that he was at, but he's being slept on because he will improve with the better technical players around him, the likes of Ekitike, who will bring him into the game. So I think he is good enough to start, especially going into next season. So I'm thinking about more of a backup winger who can play left side and maybe even cover that right side. So right now, Malik Fofana has been the main guy that I've been thinking about. He's electric down the wing. He's very good in his 1v1s. He can use both feet, and he's definitely available for a good price, especially with Lyon's financial situation. He's rejected Everton, so he's already got a +1 there. So I think he is definitely the one that Liverpool are looking at if they do end up signing another winger. And it will probably mean that Federico Chiesa needs to leave first before they think about signing Fofana. Because if Chiesa doesn't leave, then he ends up being that 5th or 6th winger. But in my opinion, I do see Chiesa leaving quite soon, especially with the Italian clubs interested in him. But Malik Fofana is definitely, for me, going to be the main guy that Liverpool look at.
Yeah, look, everyone got excited, and rightly so. Rodygo, fantastic name, Brazilian forward from Real Madrid. I get all the hype. But people kept saying, now, sure, look, Liverpool aren't going to do Kirkers, Frimpong, Verg, Ekitike, Isak, and Rodygo. Listen, you can never say never with this club. We're mad right now, people. We're mad, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. And we're going to carry on being mad as we want. Because we've been run properly for the last 4 or 5 years. But by the way, Ben will like this shout. I want to shout out Andy the Greek, who told me about Rio many moons ago. Andy don't like me anymore. He's blocked me on Twitter. I've blocked him as well because he's a knob on Twitter. But off Twitter, he's an absolute diamond. And he told me about Rio. He told me about Rio, and he said he's a fantastic player because his son, I think his son played with his Rio. Yeah, his son played with Rio. And he told me when we're signing, when he said, Grizz, this fella is fantastic. And you know what? Andy, I know you don't like me, but I know I love giving credit where credit's due. And you told me about Rio, and he's going to be electric, so fair play to you.
Must be another one as well at Chelsea that Liverpool are trying to get as well.
Yep.
Andy knows about the kids. No fun.
And I hope your son's smashing it as well, Andy. Hope your son's smashing it. Lovely little player. Lovely, sweet left foot. But yeah, look, Rodygo, I don't think we're going to go towards Rodygo. I think we're going to go towards Malik Fofana. Or if we get Isak over the line, like I believe we will. Malik Fofana, Mike, done any research on him? Don't know much about him. Have we? Where are we with our homework on Malik Fofana?
I must admit, it's a little bit of a blind spot for me. But I will tell you this: my best mate's an Evertonian. It's not the reason I'm wearing blue today, by the way. But my best mate's an Evertonian. A little bit of flack I actually got the other day. I went to races near where I was, and I put a picture up the day after, and there was an Everton thing behind me. And about 6 people messaged me just saying, "Are you in Everton?" I was like, "No, I'm just at my mate's place." But no, listen. He obviously was very excited by the idea of Fofana, so he was kind of unloading on me the information he has now. He's a UEFA B licensed coach. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to football, and his impression of Fofana is he's kind of what Everton desperately needed, which obviously doesn't necessarily translate for us, but the way he said it, he's very direct, he's very raw, good on both feet. His output's not necessarily sensational, especially when you sort of translate what output the French league is to the Premier League, but you put him under the right coach and he'll be fair. He's basically a very educated gamble, is the way it was described to me. Now, Everton obviously were priced out anyway, as well as the player by looks of it rejecting. From what we've seen, what Everton put 31.5 million in, got rejected. They were asking for near 40. You'd imagine we're trying to sell Morton to them. So if there is a deal to be done there, 2 separate deals, you think 10, 12 mil for Morton, and then you try and get Fofana done maybe for somewhere up to 35 if you include an add-on. So it's one of those. I don't necessarily think he's 30% better than Rodygo, especially at this point, but I do think he's definitely. He seems like a good, educated gamble. Like my friend said. Shout out to Don, by the way. He just travelled to Canada to start a new coaching gig. So best of luck to my mate there. But go on.
Amazing. Yeah, man. Listen, by the way, huge support. Huge summer. Huge support. Over 500 of you watching on. Over 500 watching on YouTube. Over 4,000 watching on Twitter. And as I said, I haven't got Facebook anymore. Or I haven't got the password anymore. I've got Facebook. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I just forgot the password. I'm going to have to find out where the password is. But yeah, huge numbers. Great support. Liverpool are shining. Liverpool need to recruit more. Liverpool want more signings. Liverpool want more cover. Are you settled on Malik Fofana as well, Mo? Or have you been scouting anyone else? Your vast network.
No, I'm landed on Malik Fofana as well, and I think today's news with Leon being interested in Tyler Morton.
Yeah, we're going to touch upon that as well. Actually, yeah,
accelerates that link a little bit more. You know, a lot of people. I know you're going to touch on it, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's a bit low for Tyler Morton." But maybe it's a case of, you know, doing them a favor to get a favor back in return, in you know, a week's time. You know, just building up those relationships. I'm sure you're going to touch on that. But yeah, going back to your question, I'm from what's out there at the moment and what's obtainable at the sweet spot price that Liverpool like, that 30 to 35 million, 40 million sweet spot range. I think Malik Fofana is probably our best bet at the moment. I don't think, you know, people want Gordon and things like that. That's going to cost you over 70, 80, 90 million. Like, and I don't think we're going to, especially with Rodygo as well, I don't think we're going to splash out that much, even though we've got the money to do so and the means to do so. I just think Malik Fofana and then concentrate on maybe a centre-back would be a better way going forward.
Yeah, look, Danilo says, big up the panel, big up the chat. In my opinion, we should sign a left winger, whoever it may well be. Whoever we call, they come in Edwards and Hughes we trust. That's the main thing, isn't it, Ben? Like, it's been ages since we can kick back and relax and really trust the process. And some people hate that word, but Liverpool are all about process because we do things in a certain way, right? And again, some people hate it, but they can hate it all they fucking want. Right, we're shown that we're probably one of the best run clubs in world football right now. No PSR issues, no allegations of this, that, and wherever. Squad, a happy squad. We've just let one of our great players go, Luis Diaz, with no fuss, no kickbacks, no strike, player game on strike. Everything seems to be clicking. Maybe we should just trust the guys that are in charge to see what kind of replacement they have in mind for Diaz, right?
Well, yeah, exactly, mate. You know, how many has Edwards got wrong since he's been at Liverpool? This is it. And, you know, over the years, we've had signings that people thought, I don't know how that's going to work. And, mate, the Manes and that weren't the world beaters when they brought them in. Do you know what I mean? And they turned out to be absolute superstars. So you've just got to trust them. I think, look, it's key for Liverpool to bring. I just don't think it should be set on a left winger. I think that lad was saying that there. For me, it's got to be someone that can play both sides. I wouldn't rule the Rodygo thing out completely because I think, look, I do believe Alexander Isak will be signed, but Liverpool, for some reason, can't get him done. I think they change the stance and go for a big left winger and maybe a lesser forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. That's it.
Yeah.
I think we had a chat, didn't we? Big up the super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. O'Day says, how would the formation look like? Are you... Oh, with two strikers, sorry. I was going to say, are you asking if Isak signs? We'll touch upon that in a minute, O'Day. Thank you very much for that. You're right, Ben. I agree that we're not going to go for... What I meant was we're not going to go for two high-profile attackers.
You want one lesser than the other.
That's right. Yeah. So if somehow we don't get Isak over the line, then I can see us pursuing a far more high-profile, expensive... Even though money shouldn't matter, guys. I don't know why. Like, in that case, like, why would the money matter?
In the middle, isn't it? You know, you can't just buy 3 players, 4 players for every position. I think Liverpool's options is Isak and a lesser winger like a Fofana. The other plan B would be Rodygo and maybe a lesser, you know, not just as an example, like a Wisa type. Do you know what I mean? Someone that would go behind the neck and support. Because ultimately, I think down the line, Liverpool would want to assess the Isak thing again. But yeah, look, whatever they do, trust them. You know, you can't speak highly enough, especially of Richard Hughes. He came into a shit show, contracts, managers, the lot. He's got a grab on it all, and we've got him won the league. People were saying,
do you remember the shouts of what's he doing? Do you remember the shouts?
Yeah, everyone was saying
bios on Twitter saying you can get him out and all that. And it's like, behave yourself, mate. It's with Edwards on a different stratosphere.
Yeah, look, it is. People ask, excuse me, what has he done? Michael, he's shown what he's done, right? I mean, the amount of things that they've done in the last literally 6 months, the contracts, the way they resolve the players out, the players in. This is why we brought these guys back, right? This is why FSG pleaded with Michael Edwards, and some would say, and we save this for another show one day, like they pretty much chose Edwards over Klopp, dare I say it, because they said Edwards and Hughes, conjunction with Hughes, is the way we want our club run. And so far, so good.
Yeah, listen, I think, you know what, and, you know, Ben, you were alluding to something there that I've got to hold my hands up for. I certainly wasn't doing it in the August, I can say that, but I do think come the February, March, I definitely was someone that was having a few little jokey pops towards Hughes, mainly just because it was all to do with the contracts for me. It wasn't necessarily down to transfers, but I was just getting very nervous regarding the Salah Van Dijk situation more than anything. So I'll hold my hands up there and I'll say, listen, you got me, you know? The way I look at it now is like, yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, especially as a fickle football fan such as myself. And yeah, listen, you're absolutely right. You know, I think he came in. You think they came in the March. They had to replace the manager. They had to completely change the hierarchy of how the club was ran, and they nailed it. It looks like they've absolutely nailed it. You know, they brought in Alisson's replacement 2-3 years in advance. He looks like a stellar keeper. They've worked throughout the year while obviously the season's been going on. We brought in Eric Peters as well. That's someone I really just want to give some credit to. 64% decrease in Liverpool's injuries comparatively to the season before as a result of Eric Peters, probably one of our shrewdest signings behind the scenes. That was a stat I wanted to bring up last night that they didn't let me do. Devastated. So that's why that's lodged in my head. But yeah, so then you go into the summer and it's clear that this has been, every time we sign a player, and you read whether it's a Pierce or Joyce or an Ornstein article about it, it says the conversation started in January. The conversation started in February. It started in March. And it'll be no different for the likes of an Isak or even the Rodygo, where you'll see that we've sounded them out a lot earlier than the news has caught on to, you know. So you got to give massive credit where it's due. Slot was the right man. There was a lot of people, of course, calling for other managers. A lot of us wanted Alonso. You know, we've got to be honest there. And he would have been fantastic. I don't doubt that. Alonso's a fantastic manager. A lot of people wanted Amarin, and I can see why, considering his success, but obviously his style of play was different. Slot wasn't a name on anyone's tongue. And I think that's where you have to give massive credit, again, to the likes of Hughes. Great signing so far. Hopefully they settle in. You can only judge a window 18 months down the line as to whether the players are successful or not. But on the face of it, my God, what a window. This is comparable to Mourinho when he came in and signed 5-6 players and won the league after. You know, this is a real stellar window.
I was thinking, do you know what? I very quickly, I was thinking, lads, help me out here. I don't know if you guys know or can remember straight away. I was thinking, once Isak is signed, once the centre back is brought in and a left winger, let's just say, for argument's sake, or for the topic right now, if it's a Fofana, where does this window compare to any other clubs in our memory? And Mike, I think you nailed it. I don't know if Rory told you this from TalkSport.
No, this wasn't brought up. That wasn't brought up. I brought that up to him.
because that's the only other window that I think the Chelsea one. That was a monumental window. Like, is there anything else that pops out to you lot?
No, it's like the building of a Galactico, isn't it? Really, I think maybe Madrid. You know what I mean? Obviously, that sounds egotistic. But Mo, what about you? What do you remember?
Let me get myself off mute first. I think the Real Madrid window back in 2011 when they got Ronaldo, Benzema, a few. They had about 4 bowlers and 3.
Kaka as well. Xabi Alonso, I think, as well.
Okay. We hold our hands up. Maybe that one then. Maybe that one.
Maybe that one. I was like, "Rah, what a Real Madrid cooking here!" Like, you mean? And that was a solid window. I want to get the full list up, but yeah, I think it was Alonso, Ronaldo.
Someone in the chat will find us that.
Someone in the chat. But that I think 2011. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that window, I always remember Real Madrid. Then I was like, "Whoa."
And you know what? That side went on to be so successful as well. So I think if we did this episode in 12 months' time, or even 18 months' time, we could easily do a comparison there between the window Liverpool are having now to the window Chelsea had to the window Madrid had. I'm curious if City ever had City must have had 1 or 2 windows comparable, because you just look at the team that they've built. They had a few poor ones, but they must have had When did they get De Bruyne in? What about the David Silva window? They must have had a window where they signed three.
Aguero was a big one, weren't he? To show
Yeah, I
you.
think there was one
Aguero was
where it's
massive.
like,
I want to know. Yeah, so that's a great point. I want to know what's the most they bought in one window and those caliber of players. Because Yaya Toure, Silva, Aguero. I want to know, were they in one window? Because if that's the
It was like
case,
the Nasri era with them, wasn't it? They all came
Yeah.
in.
You know what? I'll go on mute. You guys keep talking. Let me do some research.
oh, this Ali's in the building. Roy, the most annoying subscriber, but I love him to bits. He says 2009 Ronaldo, Benzema, Kaká, Alonso, Arbeloa.
That's what I mean. That window was cold, man.
No
Raul
guy.
Albiol, Arbeloa, Xavi Alonso, Benzema, Kaká, Ronaldo. That's a heavy window.
Yeah,
that is.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Only me remembers this because this is the year I started.
No, I remember that.
Oh, do you? Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Barnes was the reason I support Liverpool.
There you go.
So
That Barnes, Beardsley, and Aldridge. Guys, I can't explain to you. Barnes, Beardsley, and Aldridge. It was the modern day Kaká, Benzema, and whoever. I'm telling you, John Barnes, and I know Peter Beardsley's turned out to be a bit of a weirdo off the pitch, but on the pitch, Peter Beardsley was special. Like, I'm trying to compare him who he'd play like now, who he'd be compared to in the modern day.
Beardsley.
Yeah.
You know what?
Gianfranco Zola.
City's windows, by the way, they've just been messes, by the way.
Go on.
Like, Man City's windows have they've never been consistent. Like, they'll sign Rodri and Cancelo in one window, but also sign Pedro Porro and Angelino.
Yeah.
They've never had a window where they've just gone and signed 4 or 5.
There
at
you
least
go.
what I've seen. So there you go.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Enough. There you go. But listen, our window's not ended yet. Of course, we're still looking for outgoings. Zan, Tyler Morton. I infamously, jokingly, banteringly, however you want to put it, named him Tyler Busquets once after his performance in the San Siro. I thought, yeah, he's a player. Never, obviously, to our level, like in terms of that very, very level, but a very competent player.
I think you were onto something there, Grizz. Tyler Busquets. Now, to be fair, there's quality in that player. I've seen him even in this preseason. I think he's actually shown that he can play. He's excellent at getting that ball forward. He's very good at keeping the ball in the midfield. He works tirelessly off the ball as well. I don't think he's quite Liverpool level, but he's definitely Premier League level. And I know there's been interest from West Ham as well. And I think this season, we definitely need to get him gone. Just because last year, I feel so bad for him. We didn't let him go. And the whole year, he just stalled. Even though there's a very good footballer there, that whole year, he wasn't used enough. He didn't get enough minutes to really progress in his career. Yeah, I think he needs to definitely leave this summer. I think 15 million probably does it. I don't think Leon's bid was good enough.
I don't know how they're going to get that kind of money. I think one of you lot said there could be a possible little fiddle diddle with Malik Fofana there. You know, because they haven't got money. Like they can't give us 15 million. Apparently, their bid was just under 10 million. Paul Joyce reported or something like that.
We're wanting in excess. We're wanting probably up to sort of 13 to 15.
I think 12 and a plus. Anything 12 plus.
I know there was rumors of a West Ham double bid of Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton, so maybe that's something that they look at.
Yeah, I just don't see. I don't see either of them being convinced by the West Ham project. You know, I can't see it.
It's a good point.
Forgive me, but who's the manager? Who's the manager now? West Ham. I forgot. Is it Potter? Isn't it? Sorry,
it's Graham Potter. So it's one of those, isn't it? Because you think in a Brighton setup, those two are under Graham Potter would actually be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But at West Ham right now, you think Paqueta's on his way out. The only quality really in that front line at the moment is Gerard Bowen. The midfield, you know what I mean? You've got Souček, who I actually think might be gone on a free at this point. I'm not sure. Who was Alvarez is okay. To be honest, West Ham are actually, if you ever want to do one, Grizz, we could do a predicted relegation candidates. I'll do an episode with you on that. West Ham and Brentford are my two surprises, and I think Sunderland stay up. I really do. I Potter and West Ham just doesn't make any sense. It's like putting Brighton and Moyes together. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm really worried for West Ham. I wouldn't be sold to go there as a football player right now.
Tyler Morton, I think we all agree, needs to be moved on. When we say needs to be moved on, you know, needs to be let go. Flourish. He'll be a good player. Ben, where are we at with Harvey Elliott in your head? You know, Are you adamant that, yeah, look, here's what it is. Just Slot doesn't fancy him, regardless of what we may think of him or whatever, right?
I think that's the truth, mate. Look, he's a good player, but he's just not a Liverpool player because he's too slow. I seen the stats from fucking sprinting. He's just above the goalies. Fucking goalies.
Oh, don't do him like that, Ben. Don't do him like that, Ben. Don't do him like that.
Hey, you seen how slow Mamadashvili moved? The fucking Harvey Elliott only just above, mate. We're fucked, aren't we? So, you know, look, I'm gutted for it.
Oh, that's going to kill me now, man. Oh, man.
You know, it is what it is. I've got to be honest, haven't I? You've just asked me, so I'd rather tell you.
Yeah.
But look, I'm gutted for him. But
Yeah.
he does have to move on. I think, to be honest, I think there's a few good clubs. I think Spurs are going to be writing for him.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great move for him. Yeah, look,
especially with Morgan Gibbs-White falling through.
This is it. They like that little English type of player. I think Thomas Frank will be all over Harvey Elliott. I'd be shocked if he turned it down because I think he would go in there and make something of himself. They've got that type of number 10 role, haven't they? They've got a bit used to it with the likes of
Maddison, though.
Yeah, they've got loads of number 10 players, though, haven't they? They've got Madison, Kulevetsky.
I don't think we'll realise
Dudes can play there as well.
Yeah, but, you know, but I agree with Ben. I think you look at Brentford as well and the role that Damsgaard played for them. You put Harvey Elliott in that position, that's a match made in heaven. Madison's not got the work rate for it. So I really think I agree with Ben. That'd be a really good move.
What? You've got to remember, he will look good when he leaves Liverpool. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
We are comparing him to a top 3 team right now. We are up there in world football as a top 3, do you know what I mean, with the PSGs. So it's harsh on him. I'm gutted because he's a diehard Liverpool fan, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you've got to be cutthroat. And if Liverpool want to be the best of the best, they've got to do these decisions. And I think they will get the right money for him. And it's key. We all want the big Alexander Isak signings. Then you've got to make these decisions. And Liverpool will. And there's no sentimental now. You've seen that, you know, the last couple of months. So I wish him well, and I think he will.
Do you reckon you put a buyback clause on him, Ben? Like we did with Kwanzaa?
I don't think he'll ever get into Liverpool, lad. That's the truth.
Yeah.
A sell-on clause instead, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sell-on clause, maybe then, yeah.
Where would you buy him back for? You know, you've just bought Florian Wirtz, who is technically the position where Harvey Elliott would be playing.
Even a sell-on clause, let's not get carried away. Like if we sell him for 40, 50 million, who's going to buy him for more than 40, 50 million? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones where, you're right. You
never know. I don't. I'm just being optimistic, but
is there any world where he stays?
I wouldn't rule it out, Ben. I mean, Ben's nodding, saying no. I wouldn't rule it out. Like if Szoboszlai, it seems, guys, we don't know. Look, so many people on Twitter love pretending to know how Slot's going to set up, right? No one knows, right?
Yeah, no one
Slot is the master of deflection in terms of how he sets up and, you know, how many formations he's got in his head. He's a proper tactico, not a fake tactico on Twitter, right? So no one knows how he's going to set him up. But I'm guessing, and this is just guesses, we're giving our opinions and guesses. If I'm guessing, and I don't know if you guys are with me, follow me on this one, right? If we're guessing Szoboszlai is not going to play that number 10 role and he's going to be utilized in all these other powerhouse running roles, right? We've got a Wirtz in that 10. When Wirtz doesn't play, now we ain't going to have Diaz. Could Elliott play in games where Wirtz is not playing? No.
No, you probably put Maka or you put
Maka.
You put Maka or Szoboszlai there, don't you? Like
he's even played Curtis Jones in the 10 as well before Harvey Elliott, to be fair. So
player. He can only do well at the end of a game. When he starts, he's destroyed after half an hour.
Yeah, he gasses out quickly, didn't he?
The way we play, it just doesn't fit him.
Look, I tried to make a case because I love Harvey. I love Harvey, lad. I've met his dad a couple of times at away games and a top man. So I actually love Harvey Elliott, but I get it. And you're right, Ben. Ben said no sentiments. What this manager and what this regime has shown, my God, they haven't got, they don't give a shit who you are, where you're from, what you do, how long you've been here. You're in Slot's books and Edwards' books, or you're not. Simple as. What's next, guys? What's next? Obviously, we need to get this Isak deal sorted or not sorted and move on, because there's no way, and I come to Scouse or Welsh Mo. I can call you Mo today because there's no Scouse Mo.
I love the fact those nicknames stuck, by the way.
Yeah, his first name is Welsh, by the way, people. His surname's Mo. Regardless of whether we get Isak or not, and I believe we will. We need to get a striker on board, isn't it? Because there is murmurings, guys, and I just want to put it out there. I'm just going to put it out there, right?
Nunez must stay.
There's murmurings that Nunez is smashing it up in training.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm just saying, look, I'm just going to put it out there, and the rest is up to you lot to dissect.
He's got me back, man.
I can tell by Ben's face. Listen, I've been watching Ben when you were talking Grizz. Zane's celebrating while she's celebrating. Ben, honest to God, he's just gone redder than a tomato.
I don't know what he's smashing up. The fucking roofs of the fucking.
Listen. Streets are saying when he had that haircut, the same haircut.
It's all about haircut, yeah.
Right. When he had that, what do you want to call that? Crew cut? What do you want to call it?
I call it the Lucas Laver when he shaved his head.
The rumble stomper.
Do you not remember this, Grizz? Lucas was getting bombed on by the fans. Everyone didn't like him. He shaved his head, and then from the moment he shaved his head, it was unbelievable.
Did he shave his head or did he just get a haircut? There's a difference.
Okay. Semantics, Grizz. He got a very short haircut.
No, it's not semantics. The massive difference, lad. There's a massive difference. It's like having a nice, smart haircut like you, because I remember Lucas having a nice, clean haircut like yours.
He did.
Things gone for a fucking Escape from Alcatraz look. Like Nunez, Nunez has gone pure like thug look. Like he looks like a Gambino, man. So what I'm saying is, the streets are saying, is there any chance, Welshmo, and I'll get your opinion on it, that Nunez sticks around for another year?
Only if we don't get the money that we are seeking to get from a Saudi club, then he's going to stay.
But if that's the case,
Italian clubs are sniffing around, but they just can't afford him, and Liverpool won't give a deal to him.
But if that's the case, Mo, what you're suggesting is then we hold back from Isak.
No, not at all. I never said that. Those words never came out of my mouth. Okay. I'm saying get Isak. Isak's coming in regardless. Look, at the end of the day, if we don't sell Nunez, it's not the worst idea in the world to have Nunez, Ekitike, and Isak. Nunez, as we all know, can offer something on the left if need be, and he's got that pace. But it all comes. I truly believe that Liverpool. Look, everyone knows Nunez is for sale, but Liverpool aren't going to sell him for less than 50, 60 million. They just won't do it. They'll hold on to an asset, and hopefully he'll perform better, and the value comes back, and Saudi clubs come knocking again in January. I can see a world where if we can't sell Nunez, he'll stay until January, and then we'll revisit Saudi clubs in January. I really can.
Interesting. Zan, where you at, man? Nunez. I don't know if he was a fan. Can't remember speaking to you about Nunez before. But way back.
I'm telling you, he's back, man. I'm joking, but I guess I do. Listen, at the end of the day, we need a market for him. If we don't get the 60, 50 million, we're not going to sell him. He's not going to go for a cheaper price. Napoli tried it and we rejected it. That was the perfect opportunity to sell him, but we rejected it and said we're waiting for bigger money. So worst comes to worst, if Isak does become available this summer, we sign him. We end up keeping Nunez. He plays for another 6 months, and we look at January again to reassess the situation. Maybe he gets going. We never know. He might hit a hat-trick in the first 3 games of the season. Keep it.
Wow.
No, I've seen him in pre-season. In pre-season, he's looked a bit sharper than usual. But of course, like you said, it's training games. Everyone's going to look sharp. He's getting shots right in front of goal with like no one standing next to him. He's always going to score those. It's the high pressure situations that we've seen where we can't really trust in Nunez. And those are the situations where hopefully a player like Ekitike or Alexander Isak are starting and doing the bits. But if he does end up staying, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's your inner fanboys talking out again, man. These Nunez fanboys, I thought I got rid of them. That means there's still a few out. I've got to do my agenda and narrative a bit more on Twitter. I've got to get the fanboys, the Nunez fanboys out. Mike, way back. Surely not.
Yeah, my laptop crashed, so I'm onto my phone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Can you hear me? Oh,
yep.
Good. There's a slight delay on my end, so just give me a moment, lads. Keep talking. I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to be right with you. I'll give you a thumbs up when I'm properly here.
No worries. I don't even need to ask Ben. I know Ben's thoughts on him, and I think I share those thoughts. Me and Ben have been when I say on his case, like on his case to get out for ages. So I'm not going to ask Ben about thing, but I am going to ask about Isak. People are talking about how long is this going to take? What is it going to take? What's the latest, guys, on Twitter? Twitter's talking about his house being up for sale or something, or rent.
Yeah, up for rent, and now it's been taken down.
Up for rent. Okay.
Someone's probably lost the job.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Someone's
talking about
definitely
the
lost
Isak rentals, are we?
Yeah, Isak rentals. Ben,
Oh, brilliant!
It's gonna take a bit of patience to get this over the line because the fee we're talking is going to be a British transfer record. B, we got to convince, or we got to wait for Newcastle to get their people in because they want to get their targets in first. And C, I think, and this is where the Nunez chat, guys, just walk with me for 2 seconds before you leave me alone, right? Or leave me on my own, sorry, I should say. Because if they convince Isak to stay for one more season, right, Newcastle, somehow, whatever, right? And then we say, all right, no problem. No skin off our back. We'll come in January for a cheaper offer, or next summer, even cheaper, half of what we're giving you now. And then we do decide to keep Nunez because we've got Ekitike in as well, and then go for someone like Rodygo. There is still a couple of scenarios, Ben, that could be played out. Don't know what you think.
Never rule anything out, especially with Saudi owners, you know what I mean? Look, I'm confident we'll get it done, quietly. I think Liverpool have got something kind of agreed with Newcastle. I think people are getting carried away on Twitter because there's no news.
Yeah.
Sometimes no news is good news. And, my mate's over on the tour. Apparently Richard Hughes had left Japan today, so to come back home. That speaks volumes with the Saudi fella just piped up in the UK, hasn't he? Apparently playing golf or something. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool have allowed them to try and get a replacement in. If that's the case, I think Liverpool get a better deal. But worst comes to worst, I don't think it relies on them getting a replacement. I think if they don't get a replacement, I think Liverpool are going to have to really stump up the full amount for them. I'm not saying all up front. To me, I don't give a shit how much Liverpool play. He's the final piece in the jigsaw for Liverpool. And he is the Van Persie moment for Liverpool because we get him, which I believe we will.
Shout, son. That's a shout.
No one will fucking get near Liverpool. I'm being genuine with you. Who's gonna compete? Because I think that this time around, what Liverpool are looking at, pardon me, over the years we've always gone for the wingers. We've always had a few top wingers in a few positions, and I think Slot has looked at some of them games, and he's, in particular with Klopp was there because he made a few comments, didn't he, about Liverpool played too many risky passes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think he looked at the likes of that Palace game when Klopp was there. We couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and I think he's gone, we need two proper number 9s because they are the killers in front of goal, aren't they? The wingers do get big goals, Salah does, but Liverpool need that killer in front of goal, and we've said that for how many years. Bobby was good, but he was never a killer in front of goal. Darwin, he was just everything but the goal. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, fucking hell, if he was the shooter, Biggie Smalls would have lasted a lot longer. Do you know what I mean? But look, I just can't see a way back for Alexander Isak. I really like Diaz, but the last few weeks I've been like, just get him gone. And I can only see one way. And for me, he'd be in the Liverpool shape sooner than you think.
Our resident Elvis Presley lookalike is in the building. Ganto. Love Ganto. So smash the likes, chat. 6,000 on Twitter, 600 on YouTube. Record numbers. Red Room is growing. We're not going anywhere. Can't get rid of us yet. But I think Newcastle will have to get rid of Isak. Mike, are you confident now? Is your confidence levels growing on Isak? Are you excited about this? And then I want to get on to, what next? What's left, guys? What more do we want? I don't know if you can hear us, Mike.
Yeah, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
We can.
Yeah, all good. Listen, for perfect. There's going to be a slight delay, so I'll just try and power through. I don't know what's happening on my phone, but listen, with Isak, I'm very optimistic. I think he's, like Ben said, he's kind of put himself in a position where I don't think there's a comeback for him. I don't think there's a way he can kind of re-ingratiate himself within the team in any sort of way. But, and you don't necessarily want to commend a player for acting in such a way, but the reality is, this is where we're at now. And listen, I think, like Ben said, I think sooner rather than later, I think we'll know the outcome by the end of the week. I think the reality is we're just waiting on Newcastle to get the replacements in. So they have Chesko through the door. As soon as they have Visser through the door, then I think you see the Isak deal go over the line. I think probably there's a friendly agreement behind the doors anyway for it, if I'm honest. I don't think you hear this amount of noise regarding Isak unless something has been agreed in some way. I really don't think we've tapped him up to the extent that maybe the media are putting out. I think we're allowing Newcastle to control the narrative the same way we allowed Munich to control the narrative around Wirtz. It's just part of the dance, I personally think. But that's my opinion.
If people want to know my opinion, go and check out Grizz Khan. Subscribe if you haven't to my channel as well. I don't often plug my own channel because I don't do a fall on my bloody own channel. But go and give it a subscribe, give it a follow. I've done a little video where I'm having cereal and talking away with you lot. So
I watched that, Grizz. My God.
What's up? What's up, man? I thought it was a cool video, man.
I watched it as well. You're almost like
it.
seducing us with your voice and speaking all calmly.
It was ASMR of just the milk and the cereal.
There's levels to these games, cats. There's levels to these games.
Scary.
But anyway,
There's levels to this game.
What are we doing next then? Let's all manifest.
Defense
into the building. Let's all manifest Malik Fofana. Are we worried? Joe Gomez being sent home with an injury. Oh gosh, I love Joe Gomez, but oh gosh, it's frustrating, the situation with Joe Gomez. We're going to end the show with speaking about the defense because, look, it was a friendly, it's a training session, but where are we at with the defensive side of our game, or will it be fine? Are you okay with it, Mo?
I'm concerned. I mentioned it early in the group, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or bring down the vibes of this wonderful window we're having. But even within my friends group in Wales, they all call me Negative Mo, and I'm so negative and all this. But I like to call myself a realist rather than negative. But if we break it down, we've already got 2 actual fit centre backs right now.
Yeah.
And that's a worry. You have to be worried about that. One of them's 34, and one of them's prone to injury. So as great as they are, number 1 and number 2 centre-backs in the league, we do need to get some cover for them, and that does worry me. Now, I know we don't look into the AC Milan game because we had a left-back playing centre-back. I get that, and I'm not looking into that. I am, however, looking forward to erasing that from my memory and watching the game tomorrow and hopefully having a better outcome. But defence, I think we need to seriously consider that. And the Guehi talk's gone quiet, so that's kind of, I don't know if I'm worried about that or not. Is it, there's been links with this Greek defender as well, and there's other links with other defenders. I just think, I said earlier, did we sell the wrong centre back? Did we get rid of Kwanzaa when we should have got rid of Gomez? Gomez is my boy. I love him to bits, but look, let's be honest. He's made out of glass and he's made out of paper mache. So, he'd be great. His versatility is great. I get it, and I get all of that. I get it. But I'm talking about centre back right now. If something happens to, I'm not even going to put it out there, but if something happens to any of our centre backs, then we're up shit creek, and we really, who's going to come in? We're playing Gravenberg tomorrow at centre back. We're going to play Endo tomorrow at centre back. Are we going to see that in the league? Is that going to last? Is that going to be sustainable? Exactly. So I think we need to dip in this window for a centre back, if not 2. Simon Zeze is someone I like. Obviously, Guehi is the top of everyone's list. So there's people out there. There's Lukeba, there's people out there. It's just whether we will pull the trigger.
Zan, worried about the defensive side of issues. Attack, all looking good. We've revamped it. Wirtz with the creativity. Frimpong and Kirkes on the flanks. Everything looks good. Centre back looks light. Let's not be around the bush. It does look light, especially with the Gomez fragility.
Yeah, I think one centre back, even just a competent centre back who can stay fit. And for me, Mark Guehi is that guy. Just because he's homegrown as well, helps with the homegrown quota, especially with a lot of English players leaving us this summer. I think he needs to be the main target, and I think Crystal Palace are willing to sell him. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of negotiation. We don't want to pay too high. He's only got 1 year left on his contract. We can get him for free technically next summer. I've seen that Charlie Cresswell from Toulouse linked. He had a good under-21 tournament. Leone's been linked. He's quite a good youngster, very highly rated in Italy. Richard Hughes has good links in Italy, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're interested in him as well. So I think centre back is definitely on the agenda before the season starts, because there's been too many links to centre backs for us not to be thinking about signing one. So I think once this Alexander Isak deal gets a bit of movement, whether that's just an agreement in principle or just a bit more confidence that he is going to sign, I think straight away that shift is going to be into the centre back, getting one in just before the season starts. Even if it's once the season starts, we know Konate and Van Dijk, hopefully, fingers crossed, will be fit when the season starts. So as long as before the window ends, we get a centre back in, I'll be confident in our defensive situation, because I know it sounds weird, but Slot does trust Gravenberch as centre back.
He does. It's mad.
He's used him there a few times, and I think especially if we're chasing a game, he's not scared to pull a centre back out, pull Gravenberch into centre back. And with the number of midfielders we have, we're talking about Szoboszlai being on the bench, maybe Curtis Jones maybe being on the bench. He might just like having that extra midfielder on the pitch and allow Gravenberch to have a couple of games as centre back. So as much as it sounds weird, it might not even happen. I do think he sees Gravenberch as an option at the back.
Ben, centre back issue is a bit flaky, innit, man? Let's, it is what it is. Should we have got rid of Gomez as well and gone for 2 centre backs early in the window? We might regret not selling Joe?
No, I think he'll. I think he becomes the 4th choice when Mark A comes to the club. And look, I know people are worrying about it, but ultimately the league doesn't start tomorrow. We're playing fucking Yokohama. Do you know what I mean? Let's be real about it. So, like Liverpool in pre-season, you've got to sometimes just disregard the results. Now, a lot of them are there for fitness. So, Liverpool are playing the waiting game. We know that. Do you know what I mean? The longer it goes, the better it is for Liverpool. I know it looks risky, but at the end of the day, he's making a lot of changes, the manager. So he's not like he's forcing Van Dijk and Konate to play the full games. And there's plenty of options there to throw in. A question I want to ask you, though, Chris. Right, this is just slightly off topic because I know we'll wrap it up. We're talking about Harvey Elliott and stuff. Curtis Jones has got a big season coming up, hasn't he?
Yeah,
of course he has. But I think he really likes Curtis Jones. Ben, I think he really likes Curtis Jones. He's Dutch, and Dutch are known for their liking their players who are good on the ball technically. All we hear about technically when it comes to Dutch managers, coaches, ex-players, blah blah blah. Curtis Jones has got his faults. We know that. Hold on to the ball too long, decision making, all of that business. I think, and here's a shout, guys. Here's a hot take. I think Curtis Jones will be played in a far deeper role this season. That's just my opinion.
If Graf comes back, he'll slot him, won't he?
I think Curtis Jones will be played far deeper than he has under Klopp. Sorry. So well, even Klopp didn't started dropping him deeper and deeper, didn't he? Because I think we will play a lot of games where we play a double pivot, and I think he can play that role. And he's become one of the senior boys.
But he splits the fan base, though, doesn't he?
He's got a question mark over him this season, though, because he's got to find the minutes.
He has to.
We're talking of Harvey Elliott, hardly getting minutes.
Yeah.
We're talking of the positions. The 2 ones with probably question marks is, where's Dom going to fit in? Do you know what I mean? That's a topic on its own.
But the thing is, Ben, shall I tell you the difference between the Elliott and the Jones? He didn't trust Elliott at all. He trusts Jones.
Of course. But this year, you're going to see who he properly trusts, aren't you?
This is my sources calling me now. No, not really. Not really. We're going to end it and then answer the call.
Yeah.
But guys, it's mad. An hour has passed already. Amazing. So quick. So amazing. We'll talk about Liverpool. So much to talk about. And especially these days because Liverpool are doing so much. And there's so much more to be done. We've done so much. And there's so much more to be done. Wow. What a time to be already. So exciting. What time's kickoff tomorrow, boys?
11:30 or 11 or something.
UK time, morning.
Yeah.
I've got a gap early. Bloody hell. All right.
Oh, stop it, really. I've got a doctor's appointment right when kickoff is. Oh, that's far too early. I've got a doctor's appointment at kickoff.
Oh, Michael, come on, man. Doctor's appointment. But anyway, people, that's another episode of Red Room in the Can. Record numbers again. Smash a like if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Go and check out the guys on their socials as well. All doing great work. Amazing people, amazing chat, amazing people in the chat as well, giving us pearls of wisdom. Hope you enjoyed the topics. Next week, we may have wow next week. So keep your eyes, ears, whatever else you use peeled. Until then, peace, love, and tranquility to you all.